Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be taking you through the various ways on how to handle the exact question. And I would really love the candidates, the Kcse 2022 candidates, to be with me up to the very end of this video. This year, the exact question will come from Henry Olekulet's Blossoms of the Savannah, and it is going to be in paper 2. So the excerpt accounts for 25 out of 80 marks in this paper, and there are some tips that I will be giving to us throughout this video to help improve our score in this section. Allow me to ask those who have just joined here for the first time to click onto that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that anytime we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Let me also not forget to thank those who have subscribed, those who are following, and those who are watching these videos. It is for your support that this channel is where it is. For the purposes of maybe not having slides, we are not going to use slides, but I hope in future we'll be in a position to have maybe the slide of a sample excerpt so that as I explain, it shows on your screens. So for now, because the Kcse is coming and I'm really passionate about letting the candidates know what to expect, I just want to state where the excerpt comes from. That is the sample that we're going to use. So the sample excerpt is from page 145 of the text Blossoms of the Savannah, and it ends in page 146. So I would ask you, candidates, to have your texts as we go through this session. So have your copy of the Blossoms of the Savannah and move with me to page 145, and the first paragraph of that on that page, and I can just read the first line where it is mentioned that their parents looked tired and aloof. When they arrived home, their father had immediately removed his shoes and slumped into a chair and stared at the ceiling unblinkingly. At the end, that is the final sentence, that is on page 146. But their mother's mood was completely different. Her previous night's taciturnity had turned into loquacity. So that is the sample excerpt that we are going to deal with throughout this video. Specific to this video, I will be taking you through ways on how to correctly identify character traits, the characterization. And in identifying the character traits, not only in this text Blossoms of the Savannah, but also other literary texts, there are contextual clues that lead us to the appropriate traits of the various characters. The first contextual clue is that to identify the character trait, we must listen to what the character themselves say. Like for instance, if you are asked about the character trait of Russian, you need to check out on the various clues where Russian speaks. And in this excerpt, I want us to look at what is said by the incognito. And a section of the excerpt says, Mama Milanoi's mission did not fare any better when she sought advice from her incognito regarding Oloisudori. They, in bracket, the incognito, candidly responded that she and her husband were behaving like the proverbial greedy hyena that straddled two parallel paths with the ridiculous intention of reaching two destinations simultaneously so as not to miss the meals in either places. So the incognito liken Olekaelo and Mama Milanoi to the proverbial greedy hyena that straddled two paths with the intention of simultaneously getting to the two destinations for a meal. So from what the incognito say, we can identify their character traits. And the character trait that comes from that context is that they are candid, they are clear, they are straightforward in telling Mama Milanoi what they think of her and her husband Olekaelo. At the same time, their boldness comes out. They are bold. Their statement also brings them out as people who are courageous. Apart from that, they also come out as keen and observant. They have observed Mama Milanoi and Olekaelo as trying to fiddle around with both modernity and tradition. So from what they have said, we identify the various traits for them. That is bold, courageous, keen, or observant, candid. We can even add honest. And we have just used the clue of what they say. Another contextual clue that we can look at is what other characters say about the character in question. Like for instance, the incognito, who we have just looked at their speech or what they say, are talking about Mama Milanoi and Olekaelo. Now then, what character traits can we identify from what they have said, that is the incognito, about Mama Milanoi and Olekaelo? By saying or by likening Olekaelo and Mama Milanoi to a proverbial greedy hyena that straddled two paths with the intention of simultaneously getting at both destinations, what comes out of the trait for Mama Milanoi and Olekaelo is that they are indecisive. They have not decided to either follow modernity or follow their traditions. So in that case, we have used what the incognito have said to place the character trait for Mama Milanoi and Olekaelo. The third way that we can identify the character trait is by looking at what the characters do. And looking at paragraph 1, we see that the girls, after undergoing a certain horrific ordeal and their parents come back home. The father is aloof. They are tired. They are despondent. Then the girls decide to keep their horrific story, however urgent, to themselves. So through this action, the girls, that is Rachel and Taio, come out as wise and sensitive. They are wise in the sense that they have clearly understood the situation and they do not want to add salt to injury, that is to worsen the problems by the parents. They are also come out as sensitive. At the same time, when Mama Milanoi also arrives and finds the husband devastated by whatever he was told by Ole Supeo, she was not also able to broach the subject. That also brings her out as wise and sensitive. She has studied the situation, and just the same way Rachel and Taio do not want to add salt to injury and worsen the father's problems, she also does the same. Another trait that we can also find from the action by Mama Milanoi is that she says it is said that she was not able to broach the subject. And when we talk about to broach a subject, that means cleverly or wisely approaching a difficult discussion and talk. So one person who broaches a given topic, we say, is tactful. So that trait of Mama Milanoi's tactfulness also comes out. The fourth way of identifying the character traits is by listening to the description of that given character given by the author. Let's look at the description that the author gives at the beginning of the excerpt. It goes, "Their parents looked tired and aloof when they arrived home. Their father immediately removed his shoes, slumped into a chair, and stared at the ceiling unblinkingly. Their mother went straight into their bedroom and did not come out. For reasons they did not know, Olarinkoi did not return that afternoon after that afternoon's incident. Joseph Pamuat too did not turn up." So these descriptions by the author brings out Taio and Reshian as keen and observant. They are keen enough to observe that something might be wrong with their parents, and that is the kind of drawing from the despondent attitude that they had. They have also correctly observed that Olarinkoi has never returned home since the ordeal that they went through, and at the same time, Joseph Pamuat has also not turned up. So, by looking at the descriptions or the words by the writer, we get to know the character traits of these girls. At the same time, the writer also mentions towards the end of that paragraph, but Ole Supeo had declined the offer effectively, throwing him back to the hyena. So when the writer mentions that Ole Kaelo feels that Ole Supeo's refusal to take over the godowns at the Nasila shops is akin to throwing him back to the hyena, that brings out his pessimistic trait or resigned trait. He has resigned to the fact that there is no way out now that Ole Supeo has refused or declined to take over the godowns. Again, when Ole Kaelo went to talk to his friend and mentor Ole Supeo, he had hoped that being his friend and mentor, he would persuade him to take over all his stocks in his godowns that he had secured on the strength of those contracts that Luisidore had enabled him sign with the parastatals. So when the writer mentions that he had hoped, it means that at that point, Olekaelo is hopeful and optimistic. Lastly, there are some cases that some verbs or maybe some adverbs could be used as pointers to what the probable character traits could be. Like for instance, if in the excerpt, maybe it is mentioned that Reshian said something contemptuously. So a candidate can use that adverb contemptuously to come up with a trait that at that point Reshian is contemptuous. Let's say in another case, it is a dialogue. Maybe Tayo says something, and then the writer goes ahead to describe how she said it. Maybe she said it petulantly. That word petulantly, the adverb, leads us to decide that the trait therein for Tayo is maybe petulant or impatient. Now, candidates, there for you. When you finally get this question in Kcse 2022, that is at the beginning of December, on character traits, you must remember to bag those 4 or 6 marks. Remember the 4 or 5 contextual clues that you can use to identify character traits. Listen to what the character says. Listen to what other characters say about the character in focus. Listen to what the characters do. Listen to the author's or the writer's description of the character. And finally, look at the various adverbs or verbs that can lead you to decide on a given character trait. Thank you very much. Until next time.